Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We have a ghost leak from a vintage American Standard tank and bowl. This one happens to be in Regency Blue. Wow, what a color. Anyway, my father put this bathroom in way back in the early 60s for the parents of the current owners. They're two sisters that have been there for the last 60 plus years, and I still service them. I was doing some work for them last week. One of them pulled me into the bathroom. She said, "Bob, this toilet is flushing by itself every couple of minutes." And sure enough, I saw that the flush valve gasket was passing water. And I warned him, I said, listen, if I can't get this gasket, or if I can't get the bottom of the flush valve in the right shape, you may be faced with putting a new tank and bowl in. No, please, Bob, we love this tank and bowl. We don't want to change it. Besides, I said, no, you're not going to be able to get a blue tank and bowl. It'll have to be white. Oh, no, you got to fix it. You absolutely got to fix it. Anyway, that's what this video is about. I'm going to attempt to fix this. I'm going to attempt to get it to stop, because they don't want to change this tank and bowl. They love this toilet. So stick around, watch the video. If you have a similar type of situation, maybe you'll learn some new tricks. And by the way, I'll leave a link down below the video where you can get the parts if you're having trouble finding them. So stick around, I'll be right back. All right, guys, here we go. This is a vintage American Standard Regency Blue tank and bowl. My father put this bathroom in for my current customer's parents back in the early 60s, if you can believe it. I was there doing some work last week. One of the girls came over to me that she said that the toilet was kind of flushing by itself every few minutes. So I went in and investigated, and as you can see here, it is passing water. And so I lifted the cover to go inside and take a look. And this is a vintage American Standard flush valve. Now, these toilets originally were equipped with quote unquote ball cocks before we had these fluid master fill valves. So when the flush valve leaked, it really wouldn't fill up every couple of minutes. It would just quietly add water in there, and you didn't really realize that you had a problem. But with these new fluid masters, you can immediately tell that there's a problem rising. So I'm looking down there. There is a gasket that sits on the brass surface of the flush valve. And now I have to inspect, pull that plunger up, just get the handle out of the way, pull the plunger up. And down on the bottom there is a brass seat. And what you're going to see coming up here is the plunger with the culprit. Now take a look at that gasket. That gasket has seen better days, folks. And that thing was just passing water. Not a lot, but enough to let this thing run on and enough to run her water bill up. So now what I want to do is, after pulling it off and showing it to you again, I want to get down there with some Scotch-Brite or sandpaper. Hopefully the bottom is not in too bad a shape. I usually just polish it up. I get the excess rubber off the bottom of the seat. There's the bottom of the plunger without the gasket, as you can see. And what I like to do is come in, Scotch-Brite, sandpaper. As long as the bottom is relatively smooth, I'm looking to remove whatever rubber's on there. Now that black that you see clouding up, that's the gasket between the flush valve and the tank. I'm just disturbing it. It's not an issue. But if that seat that you see me rubbing with the Scotch-Brite is cut up or badly pitted, it's going to be time to put a new flush valve in. And I don't think that's cost effective in today's world. I would much rather put a new tank and bowl in, but the issue is we're not going to get Regency Blue any longer. We're going to end up having to put a white tank and bowl in, and that's the last thing that these girls wanted to hear. And I'm calling them girls, but these sisters that inherited the house from their parents are in their later 80s, and one of them's actually going to be 90 in July, and I'm still doing work for them. So now I had to go I actually ordered online because a lot of people locally don't carry them, the kit, the repair kit. And I get most of my stuff from Plumb Master, but they sell to professional plumbers only. But I'll leave a link down in the description below the video. You can get a kit like this on Amazon. I'll leave a link to it down below. And now that I got that polished up, it was time to put the new gasket on. And you really, this gasket is kind of stiff. So you really got to stretch it on there. I had to lean that gray plunger up against my body and with my fingers like pull like a maniac to get that onto the little flange that's on there. Now that that's done, As you can see, there's the old gasket. There's the old stop. Now that's a stop on top that keeps the gray plunger from popping off every time you flush it. So I flushed it. I'm filling up the tank. And what I'm going to do is test it. Now I can tell you that it's going to leak. And it's probably going to leak for a week until that new washer gets acclimated or waterlogged, if you will. And you'll see that coming up. And I told them I'll be back probably in about a week to check it to make sure it completely stops. But here I flushed the bowl. And in this next frame coming up, you're going to see after it filled, it's full. And as you can see, this looks probably just as bad as it looked before I replaced the washer. But that's normal, guys. It's not going to be 100%. That washer has to acclimate to the water. It's got to, quote unquote, seat itself, if you will. It may take a couple of days. And what I did was I pushed down. I'm pushing down with my fingers on the plunger just to see that once that washer gets acclimated, it will stop. And as you can see, it's pretty steady there. And then I released it. I actually released my hand off of it. But you're going to go up top and you'll see me holding that plunger down, because I just wanted to verify that I'm not going to have any issues even after the washer gets waterlogged, if you will. And now I'm going to release it, and you're probably going to see it start to leak again. But that's the way it's done, folks. It's not a really big deal of a repair. The option here is, if the flush valve is really bad, replace the flush valve. I don't think that's cost effective, especially for a professional plumber in today's world. But if you're a DIYer and you want to go that route, you certainly can put a new modern plastic flush valve in there. And that's it, guys. So if you run across a job like this, these are the steps you have to go through to make it happen. So there you go, guys. A vintage American standard toilet tank with a quote-unquote ghost leak. Again, the reason the water or the fill valve was filling up every couple of minutes was because of that gasket. As you can see, it looks pretty rowdy. And not a big deal. Again, the kits are out there. They're available. And like I said, I'll leave a link down below. Folks, I want to thank you for stopping by and watching my videos. As always, I'm always honored you stopped by. To those of you who have returned, I want to thank you for coming back. For anybody new, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of when I post new videos. I look forward to seeing you on my next one, and keep an eye out for a couple of videos that are going to pop up here. You may be interested in those too. Hopefully you'll browse around my channel and see what I have to offer. Again, guys, thanks for stopping by. I look forward to seeing you once again. Stay well. And as I always like to say, happy plumbing.